Hey everybody, welcome back to the K2N Online Paddle School. We are back here on YouTube, and this week we're answering the question, what is the best way to find extra resistance training in the Outrigger canoe? I saw this question posed online recently asking if it's more advantageous to put weights in the boat to make it heavier as you're taking your paddle strokes, or to put in additional points of drag with bungee cords or tennis balls or tying concrete blocks to your ama. I wanted to make a full video today addressing these points, why I'm not a huge fan of it by drawing analogies to other sports and their training protocols, and then give you guys some drills that you can do to help you achieve these ideas that you're looking for with those external components of drag. The purpose of adding in these additional points of drag is to make finding pressure much easier. From finding this additional pressure, you're working your muscles more to achieve the goal of completing the paddle stroke. This concept, at its face value, provides a tremendous amount of value, right? We're working our muscles more to achieve the same task, and it makes us stronger when we remove those components. There are paddlers that have reached a very high level that use these training protocols, and it elevates their overall ability. The problem is if you are not a full-time, lifetime paddler, drawing the parallels from that type of paddling to making the boat move faster organically can be lost. This would be akin to finding somebody very strong in the gym setting and giving them a paddle for the first time. They struggle to make a canoe move fast because it is so technically involved. Your strength output is only a small component of moving a boat properly. It is a skill-dominated sport, a skill-dominated activity. So being better is honing those skills specifically. The skill that I'm talking about is being able to move a canoe that is already gliding very fast. Finding a high level of pressure while the canoe has glide is the goal. Finding pressure when your boat is slowed down by an external anchor and making it go from 2 to 3 to 4 miles per hour does not prepare you to move a boat from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 miles per hour. If you want to move your canoe faster, spend time doing drills that allow you to move your canoe into those higher speed variables without external components slowing it down. Use your canoe organically, use your movement naturally, and modify how you're paddling to try and train those muscles more for that specific goal. Having a heavy canoe or things slowing down your boat robs the boat of glide, which makes the water slow moving as you take your paddle stroke. It is easier to grab and make that connection with the catch when the water is not moving very fast. Finding that pressure is very easy through the middle of the stroke, and you are training your body to look for that pressure. But when you are paddling with all those components away and the boat is gliding, that water is now moving faster, and that pressure that you've been trained to look for is no longer there. Spending time finding a lot of pressure while the boat is already moving very quickly, this is the goal that we're looking for. Finding pressure is the one variable that connects these two ideologies together. Finding more pressure when the boat is moving fast is distinctly different than finding a lot of pressure while the boat is being hindered in its glide. It is not solely a contest of your wattage output and your ability to grab the most amount of water. It is your skill-specific abilities in grabbing a lot of water in an environment where the water is hard to grab. For the majority of paddlers, they're not moving the boat fast enough to need this additional load to slow them down, because you're already going slow in a sense. The next analogy would be looking at swimmers. It is very easy to put on apparatuses that would hinder their glide through the water, but instead they work on very specific drilling using their natural body and everything they would to normally race to hone the small parts of the stroke that make them successful. Then ultimately the goal is to bring all of these ideas together. All of the drills that we're going to talk about are on the K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com in greater detail with accompanying videos talking about the body, the top arm, the bottom arm, the torso, the hips, the leg drive, and putting all these components together and breaking down the different aspects of the setup, the catch, the power, the exit, the recovery, and having drills for each one of these components and bringing the big idea together. This video will briefly go over the small ideas of the drills themselves. If you want more details, go to the K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com and check it out today. My favorite drill for finding additional pressure within the stroke in the most organic way is limiting your stroke rate. Having a goal speed that you want to obtain and limiting the amount of strokes per minute that you can take forces you to take more powerful strokes each time. The boat is still gliding in its normal way, but it is up to you to move the boat faster without the ability to turn over and paddle faster. You have to get more out of the stroke, out of your body, and out of working the canoe to achieve these numbers. The more distance per stroke you can get, as you optimize for racing, you will get the proportional value equated to that. If you can get 15 feet per stroke doing these drills, when it comes time to racing, you are still holding on to 11 or 12 feet of this. That would also sound like having 5 meters per stroke, you would be able to hold on much closer to that 4-meter value. If you are doing drills and you can barely get 10 feet per stroke, when you start to paddle faster, you're proportionally going to get less. Spending time on these drills organically increases your strength capacity, but ultimately the amount of skill and ability you have in making that connection with the water and moving the boat in a functional way. The most difficult of these drills is 30 strokes per minute, in my opinion, because you have to very artificially slow down at the tail end of the stroke to make sure that you're not paddling too fast, and you will feel and see the boat glide, decelerate, and then you're taking your next stroke. The whole purpose of this is as the boat is slowing down and losing its glide, you are creating a tremendous amount of glide each time you take a stroke. Taking that value and starting to increase it for different types of drills, 40 strokes per minute. Ideally, you want to be going faster than your 30 stroke per minute speeds. You don't have to slow down your recovery phase quite as much at 40 strokes per minute, but you will still feel the boat start to slow down. Taking this up to 50 strokes per minute, for many paddlers, this is beyond their strokes per minute when they are racing because they have poor movement mechanics and they're just not being fluid enough to get that value that high. 50 strokes per minute and still finding a similar amount of pressure that you did at 30 strokes per minute and 40 strokes per minute should be making the canoe move very fast. You'll see on the videos that I splice in that the speed values start to increase more and more from 30 to 40 to 50 strokes per minute. And this is the goal, finding pressure specifically as the canoe is already moving beyond that 6, 7, 8 mile an hour threshold. This is what we're training for, not moving a canoe from 1 to 2 to 3 miles per hour because we are excessively overloading how much drag we have. You're racing, there are no points of drag. Why train and have those points of drag? Train with the canoe that you are going to race with. Train with understanding the glide and getting the most out of that glide. If you've made it this far into the video, this is where I trickle in my controversial take on the canoe stroke, which goes against many of the inherent values that are out there in the community, and it is based on my experiences and experiences with other coaches, and I'm going to share those now. Limiting your stroke rate is one aspect, but limiting your time in the water and where you are applying power in the stroke is another drill that you can do to challenge these ideas. First one is a catch drill, where the blade goes into the water, and as the entire blade is submerged, it begins to exit. So you're only doing about the first half of the stroke. If you can effectively move a canoe fast using only the first half of the stroke, it means that when you extend that stroke all the way to a true natural exit, you can only go faster. This is another limiter in your movement, but you're still trying to achieve a speed threshold. Finding, feeling, and making that connection immediately at the front is very present. You're only in the water for a split second. You have to make a strong, powerful connection to move the boat. If the front half of your stroke sucks, your boat speed will not go up. Practicing and mastering that means just spending time doing the catch. The controversial part of that is working on the back half of the stroke. There are people that will argue with you until they are blue in the face that the back half of the stroke is completely useless, it slows down your canoe, and there's nothing you can gain from it. I spend time sticking my blade in right next to me, no positive blade angle, no reaching, no catch, and doing the back half of the stroke. If you are fully utilizing top hand driving down, shoulders turning into the stroke, sending the hips forward, driving with the legs, there is a tremendous amount of force that you can find in the back half of your stroke. As you'll see in the video here, as I'm doing that stroke, I'm only going about 50 strokes per minute, and it is easily over 7 miles per hour working just the back half of the stroke. This just shows that that power input that is occurring in the second half of the stroke is moving the canoe forward. This is an excellent drill if you struggle to feel pressure adequately in the back half of your stroke. It limits the ability of your movement. Hone the entire stroke, working the front half, working the back half. If you can effectively move a canoe with just those two components, when you put those ideas together, the canoe is going to fly. We have more videos on this YouTube channel and on the K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com, and we use the analogy of throwing the punch. If I'm throwing a punch from this half, this is never as powerful as coming all the way back and having a full motion. Having a powerful second half of the stroke is no different than the setup here of the punch, which is like a paddle stroke in reverse. The last drill that you can use to maximize your understanding of all these components is sprinting intervals. Moving the canoe as fast as you can using every skill that you have is inherently difficult. As the canoe moves faster, it is harder to grab that water. If you are moving faster, you have less time to set up and use your skills to make that connection as properly as you can. Adding in all these variables, if you can move a canoe very fast while sprinting, you have an inherent mastery of grabbing that water and commanding your canoe. Spend time doing normal intervals without anything as a hindrance. Use your boat organically and the way that it is designed and the way that you are going to race it. Great, that's it for this week's video. Again, if you are using weights for your canoe and you feel like you're getting the most out of it, that is excellent. Just keep in mind when you use this as advice for paddlers that struggle with their boat speed, it may end up holding back their overall potential as they approach it. There's nothing wrong with finding additional pressure within the water, but understanding the big picture allows you to be more effective in helping the people in your community. The K2NOnlinePaddleSchool.com will have a new 101 series added to it on an ongoing basis. A few future series are going to go over managing the beach setting and getting out past the break. And another series I'm very excited for is Coaching 101 and going over coaching cues that you can understand and share if you are trying to help people within your community. Understanding the big picture allows you to share this information more thoroughly to help those people. One of my biggest reasons for making the YouTube channel is to try and do that, but equipping people with that knowledge makes it even easier for them to flourish and spread that information easier within their paddling groups. Our sole mission here is to help the paddling world grow. I have gotten so much from the community of paddling, and it is my life's objective to give back to that. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Next week, it's going to be the same exact thing as this video, except we're going to be talking about it from the viewpoint of surf ski and kayak. May try to sneak in another video that is a little bit more generalized for everybody, but if not, I will see you guys in 2 weeks.